All right. Hello, everyone. And once again, we are here with deck profiles for the next set. These are coming out in on the week of the set release. So there's a countdown apparently. I don't know if I'm releasing this one Monday or Tuesday, but this set, if I'm not mistaken, comes out Friday. I'll not be home for the week, so I wanted to release these much earlier, but work didn't let me. I have the Ray one edited and ready to upload. I've seen that in the last few videos there has been a few problems with my microphone, just cutting my voice sometimes. I messed around with the options, so maybe it's better now. I hope it's catching the thing over there, so hopefully it's better. So apparently today we are going over Nova, right? We're going over my Nova deck list. Once again, I'm not the best person building decks, so take this with a grain of salt. I kind of like this build. I like how it works and everything else, but I don't know if you guys will like it. That is a small mistake here, and I'm gonna correct it real fast. Put it down below if you see what the mistake was. Give me a sec. All right, we're back with the thing fixed. God damn it. All right, so what is Nova and what does this Nova Center does? All right, so her team enter ability is target one signia on your opponent's field and return it to its owner's hand. So it's basically you're getting rid of something from the board and not giving it to your opponent because it's going back to their hand. Then her auto is when this Rig attacks, if there are 5 or more cards under this Rig, target one signy with guard in your trash and put it on top of your deck. So it's basically you attack, you have a guard, you put it on top, you're drawing it next turn, unless your opponent mills you or mills you basically. But then, if you have 7 or more cards under under this rig, you draw a card. So it's basically if you have 7 or more, which you will most likely have, because the once per game is you pay 0, put all cards from under your other Elrigs under this Elrig, which means you can only use this once per game, and you want to be using it when you have all cards able to go under Nova, so all 7. Which means that with this, every time you attack with your Elrig, you're getting a guard, you're getting a servant. So basically, it's like you can, as soon as you get to level 3, you can just continuously keep getting a servant in your hand to keep guarding your opponent's Elric attack, which is pretty freaking awesome. If you wait a bit, like if you look at it and think a bit about it, like you only need one servant basically. Of course, we run 4 because you still will need to get one first. But you see, it's pretty cool. Then for the assists to help out our Nova, we have Bang Crescendo when it enters, enter charge 2, pay 0, pretty simple, not much more, right? And then since Nova wants you to level up your assistal rigs as fast as you can so you can start using it to get your servant back every turn, we are using Bang Da Capo, which costs 1 to grow, which is nothing. And it says on enter, the next time you take damage this turn, instead you do not take that damage. So it's basically a guard to anything. Any damage that you would take, you don't. And then you can pay a green and a colorless, and then the next time you take damage this turn, instead you do not take that damage. So it's basically a 3 cost to negate 2 damage, which is pretty awesome, right? Um, I don't think there is much more explanation you need for this card. It's just that it's a pay 3 um negate not negate 2 attacks, but uh guard 2 damage. Pretty awesome. The cost is nothing that much, and if you only need to negate 1 damage, you can literally just pay 1. You can probably pay the 3 depending on the rest of your game, but it's like a really cool card. Negate 2 damage, nothing much else to say. Then we are playing Tamago Double Stroke Roll, which on enter draws 2 cards, which is another. This, this is, as you, if you've seen my diagram deck profile, the one that I own, uh, this deck is basically using the level ones for resource management, anyways, because Bang is basically our Sangha, but our Sangha on that deck list takes the 2 stuff from the discard pile, so from your trash, so you can choose what colors you want there. This one basically energizes 2 from top of your deck. It's the same thing. And then Tamago draws you 2 cards, while Madoka discards 1, draws 2. It's basically the same thing. I love to have decks where you can use your level 1s to resource management. It's just my way to play. I really like it. And then for the level 2 Tamago, we are using Jet Stick. Again, a pay 0 to grow. Enter down target signature in your opponent's field, and then you can pay 1 more to draw 2 more cards. So it's basically a cost 1, down, and draw 2. Pretty cool. You can use these early game, and you will want to because of Nova's auto. Yes, from your Nova's auto. To get your servants to your hand, right? So yeah, so this is the assist all rigs, pretty fast grow assists, pretty good too. Just negate 2 damage, down a Signy and draw 2 cards. Pretty basic, low cost, fast to grow, and then you can just use your once per game and get your Nova's auto up. Then for pieces, we are playing the team piece. If you're playing a team, the team pieces are still strong. For this piece, probably everyone knows it, but for the ones that don't, it's basically you need to have the Uchu no Hajimari team on the board. All 3 of your L rigs need to be from this team, and they need to be level 1 or higher. And then you can target 1 level 3 L rig on your field, and it gets the following ability until the end of turn. Auto, when this L rig attacks, choose 1 from the following. Repeat this effect a number of times equal to the level of your opponent's center L rig. You may choose the same option multiple times. So, if your opponent's L rig is level 3, you can use any of these effects. You can choose to use any of these effects 3 times, not 3 times total. Alright? Draw 1 card or discard 1 card from your opponent's hand at random. You can basically like draw 1, discard 2 at random, draw 3, discard 3 at random from your opponents, stuff like that. Draw 2, discard 1 at random. It really depends on what you want to do. There is a lot of value on making your opponents discard, and you're going to see that on the main deck a little bit too. But yeah, it's a team piece, it's strong, whatever. For the other piece, we are running end of turn. You might ask me, why are we running end of turn? You can stop a few things with this. This is a card that can be used during your main phase or whenever your opponent uses a spell, right? Can be on their main phase. Basically on their main phase, because I believe there are no spells that can activate on other times than that. But it says, choose 1. Target 1 spell with total cost 3 or lower being used and cancel its effect. Or target 1 Signy without guard in your trash and add it to your hand. It's basically just if you wanna grab something back from your trash that just got destroyed or something like that, you can grab it back to your hand. Or if you just wanna cancel an effect of a spell, like there are some cards that you might need that you want on your board that you don't want to lose them before you need them to your next turn. You can just stop a spell that will like make your plan go to shit. Or let's say your opponent is trying to draw 3 cards, you can like made them discard a bunch of cards and then they have trouble and they want to draw 3 more. You just cancel that. These are just some options. There is a lot of ways that you can use this card. When you play with it and try it out, you'll see for yourself like the stuff you can do with it. It's pretty fun. Not like the best piece that I like, but it's pretty useful. You can use the piece that the new one, I can't remember the name right now. But it's one that you can just like kill something outright. You can exceed 4 to use it, which goes against the stack because you want to have your 7 cards on under your Nova. But you can just kill something with it. It's pretty cool. If you think you need a bit more of that, you can use that one. And yeah, so we are gonna go into the main deck now. Let's see what we got. I think we're gonna start with level ones, like we've been doing. So for the lack of finding anything else that found interesting or something, I don't know. This is just my options. I want to have a little bit of everything, and I still like double color vanillas. So we are running 3 Procyon A with white and blue, and then 3 Triumphi with white and green. All right, changed card by mistake. This is just help to your effects, to your stuff. You basically need the white the most, but with this we have a lot of white in the deck. We are gonna use a lot of white in the deck, but we might need some green too. So we are trying to go around with that. Might even go like 4 Triumphi, 2 Procyon, depending on what you see fit, what do you think you need the most. Because you don't really need blue that much in here, but we wanted, well, no, my mistake. We kind of need blue here because of our spells. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But I want to be sure to have at least some blue that I can use for the spells. If this spell is kind of useful, what you might want to do is, depending on the level 3s you run, you might want to go down on greens. But we're going to talk about level 3s in a bit. Then the other level 1 we are using is Zaoyun, the annoying level 1. It's just a wall at the early game. You can't get killed by your opponent's stuff, your opponent's level 2 or less Signy. It's basically for that level 1 that you can pay 1 to kill a 3k, the red one. This just bypasses that. It's an annoying card. You just have to attack into it, or use a spell on it, or use one of your level 3 effects, depending on what you're running. It's an annoying card. I had to go a bit against some of my things, but to do this deck, but yeah. And then we're gonna talk a bit more about that in a little bit, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about. And then we are using 3 typo, which says constant while there is a level 1 Signy on your energy zone. The Signy gets plus 4k power during your opponent's turn. I would like it if it was like on both mine and my opponent's turn. It would be pretty cool. But this just makes it a 7k on your opponent's turn. It bypasses the same level 1 that we were talking about against Zhao Yun. And the life burst effect says target one Signy in your opponent's field and it gets constant. This can attack until the end of turn and draw 1 card. So you negate an attack. And you draw one, which is pretty okay too. And yeah, basically a wall during your opponent's turn. I believe there isn't like a white card that is a 7k that I would like to use like during our turn. There is that level 1 that if you have another Signy on your field, it gets plus 4k, but you know that might not be up on your opponent's turn, stuff like that. And the life burst on this card is pretty cool. And then the last level 1 we are using is for servants. Just you want to run them even more because your Nova grabs servants from your trash. So you know you want to have these, at least for that effect, no? And it's just overall the card that lets you guard your opponent's Elric decks. So that's it. Then we are gonna go into the level 2s. For the first level 2, we are running I don't know how to say this things. Ishikiri Maru? Yeah, that. Ishikiri Maru. That right? I don't know if they changed it a little bit on the English translation, but I think it's Ishikiri Maru. Right? Hopefully, yes. So this is basically another wall. It gets plus 4k during your opponent's turn, so it's a 12k during their turn. You have a once per turn that when another Signy is put onto your field, you look at the top card of your deck, then you may put that card on the top or bottom of your deck. So just looking into your deck, seeing if what's on top is the piece you want or not, so you can just get rid of it, putting it at the bottom. You can draw a few cards with the spell that we're gonna look at. So you might just use this, see if you want what's on the top, use your spell, or even if for the next turn or anything like that, and go from there. And then the life burst is just like a common life burst on some white cards. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal one signature from among them, add it to your hand or put it on your field, put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. I like this that it says you can put it on your field, because if you have an open lane and you check this on your life burst, you can just look at top 3, find something that is like that can cover that empty lane, and you just call it there, and then your opponent can't attack. And this doesn't say that your enter abilities do not activate, so you can get some cool stuff with that, with enter abilities and such. So yeah, and it's any Signy, so good, fine. I really like the cards that lets you put like it's like a mirage. You can grab something from your enter, I believe, or trash. Can't remember very well right now, but you can grab something, put it on the field. It's from trash. Yeah, you can grab something, put it on the field, and then cover that lane. It's pretty cool. I really like these types of effects. Really like this card. And then, so I need to sit up straight for this. I need to hair up a bit. If you have seen any of the set reviews on Skarada's channel, on the Highlander TCG channel, you might have noticed that I don't usually like cards that only have life burst effects. I don't like, if you follow my Twitter, you might see that I do not like that shitty level 2. That I don't even wanna say the name. Which is, if you get it in your life burst, you can down 2 of your opponent's rear guards and draw a card. I've lost too many games for that dumb card. So, I'm always against using it, and cards like it. But I guess I had to lose a little bit of my pride, and for the first time in deck profile, run this. I know, I know, I'm sorry. But this card is Akufuku Code Maze. It's a 10k vanilla, and her effect is something like that order level 2, which says you enter charge 1, and then Signies on your opponent's field that are level 3 or lower can't damage you this turn. What does that mean? It basically negates any damage that your opponent will do for the rest of their Signy attacks. One thing that I usually get is when I'm playing against someone with that blue level 2, they always check it on my first attack. So I can't do shit. Right? And sometimes just one of those is enough for you to lose the game. One thing that makes this one not as bad is that it says you cannot be damaged, so they can still attack your Signies. Right? So then I'm a bit like, alright, then this is not that bad. I might not be as losing as much pride as if I was running the blue one, because the blue one shuts you down completely, right? So yeah, we are running Akufuku Code Maze that lets you undercharge your own. It can be at level 3 or lower Signy this turn. Alright, let's skip this. I lost a bit of my soul already. Let's go into the level 3s. God damn it. Alright, so main level 3 on the deck. It's Komei Blessed General Queen. It's a level 3 white 12k, and it says, sorry, Harmony 1 green Elrig. We have that, no problem. And her auto ability is, when a white Elrig on your field attacks, you may down 2 up Signy on your field and pay a colorless and a white. And if you do, up that Elrig, and that Elrig loses its abilities until the end of turn. So, you can basically attack with your Elrig twice. Just have in mind, you can't use the get a servant from trash twice, because this card makes the Elrig lose its abilities. But you can attack again with your Elrig. So basically, you can attack with Komei, and if your opponent is not running anything that can down your Signies, like that annoying level 2 blue vanilla, you can attack with this, attack with your Elrig, and then use this effect to down your other 2 Elrigs, your other 2 Signies, and attack with your Elrig again. This is the reason that like cards like Ishikirimaru and Typo that only get 4k during your opponent's turn are not as bad. They're only worse if your opponent gets like a defensive life burst, but let's not count on that. They're not that bad because Komei, you probably not even attacking with them. Let's say you have a Komei, a Typo, and an Ishikirimaru, or like a Komei and 2 Ishikirimarus. Like, you're probably not even attacking with these, so these are just 12k walls on your opponent's turn. They're good at your level 2 turn too. But yeah, that's something pretty nice. You are using this to attack with your Elrig more often, which makes your opponent have to use a servant or just take the damage. If you've been playing this game for some time, Elrig attacks are usually a good way to deal damage, right? Um, your opponent needs to have a servant, and you are making them discard cards with build still for a little bit. So you might snipe those servants, so you have even more chances of hitting your Elric attacks. And then the other effect is an auto, which says when this up signy is vanished, you may pay 2 colorless and a white, and if you do, put this signy from your energy zone onto your field down. So basically, if your opponent kills this, you can pay 3 and get it back on the field. It's downed, but your opponent is probably killing it on their turn. If they kill it on your turn, you can just grab it for the next turn and all of that stuff. All right, so this is basically our main card because it's making you attack more often with your Elrig, like recurring attacks. And the first attack, you're always getting a servant, then you use this attack again. And as I said, as I mentioned, Elrig attacks are pretty often hitting your opponent, and you're trying to get rid of their servants anyways, so that's it. Then our another level 3 that we're running is for Fenrir. This basically just can stop 2 lanes, and since you're on Uchu, at the beginning of your attack phase, your opponent discards a card. You're making your opponent discard cards, which is pretty good to try and get rid of their servants. With other cards, we are discarding at random, so you might hit servants as well. The least cards your opponent has, the better. And yeah, as I said, the enter ability, you can just freeze 2 target Signy, you can just stop 2 lanes, and then on the next turn, your opponent has 2 options, like enter charge one of the frozen Signy and use their once per turn trash to get rid of the other one. So yeah, it's pretty nice. You're neutral, you kind of want it for the discards as well. Then another level 3 is the Demeter, something like that. It's a harmony, one blue Elrig, so we have 2 harmonies, one with green and one with blue. Pretty nice. We're only running 2 of these because you're probably not using these as often, but these are some nice cards. So her auto is at the beginning of your attack phase, if there are 3 or more colors among Signy on your field, and this Signy is upped, target one other Signy on your field, and you may pay a colorless and the green, and if you do, that Signy gets Lancer. So basically, you can use this with a bunch of stuff. It needs to have 3 or more colors among Signy, so even if you're running like a Procyon, like if you put Triumphi or Procyon on the field while you have Demeter, you already have 3 colors because you have green, white, and blue. Or, well, not Triumphi, Procyon, right? You have green, white, and blue. And yeah. So you are basically paying 2 to give Lancer to one of your Signies. Any Signy can be level 3, level 2, level 1, doesn't matter. And that's why we are running 3 Triumphs, and we are running the Akfku, the green version of the... because we want a little bit more green in case we want to reuse this. We have 6, 7, 8 green sources. It's not much, but you're ender charging, you're looking into your deck, like you're ender charging with Bang, we're looking into your deck with Ishikirimaru, and you're drawing with our spell. So, pretty nice. So we're using this, and her other effect is auto once per turn. When another Signy on your field is vanished during your turn, you can enter charge one. So if your opponent decides to kill something during your turn, you can literally just enter charge one. Pretty nice if they don't kill this first, but they will know that you will be able to enter charge one. It's once per turn, but it's pretty nice effect to have as well. Then we got a space for another level 3. This other level 3 that we're running is P and Light Code Heart, which is a 10k. Once again, you guys know that I don't like 10ks that much because of Deafening Inferno and stuff like that. But I feel like running at least 2 is not that bad. And as same as in my diagram build, I'm running 2 10ks because the effect is worth to be playing them. So PN Light, what she does is auto at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase. So you want this to survive till your opponent's phase. Target one L rig on your opponent's field, and it gets constant. This L rig cannot attack unless you pay 2 until the end of turn. And auto at the end of your turn. If you use the spell this turn, this Signy gets Shadow Signy until the end of your opponent's next turn. So once again, we're going to look at our spells. You can see it already, but we're going to talk about it. If you use it, this gets Shadow for Signy, so no Signy can do anything to this card. Can't target this card with an effect. And you are making your opponent not be able to attack unless they pay 2 or they use something to just kill this outright. And this is at the beginning of the attack phase, not during when your opponent's Elrig attacks. So as soon as they say, I move to the attack phase, this triggers before they can use pieces, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's it. And then the life burst is choose one, draw one, or target one up Signy on your opponent's field and return it to its owner's hand. So just bouncing something or drawing a card. Most likely be bouncing unless you really need something in your hand. But yeah, I feel like this card is pretty nice, and I can see it being used in some other white decks. I really like it. It comes in handy a few times. If your opponent can't kill it, you're just making them have to get rid of Enter to just do something, to just attack with their L rigs. Which I feel like this would be a nice tech card to in like an Enter burn build, because you're just making them use their Enter on stupid stuff or not attack. And finally, for the spells that we're using, we're running 4 Random Drain, pay 1 blue, draw a card, and your opponent discards a card. But since we are on Uchu, we have the full team. Instead, you draw a card and your opponent discards a card at random, which is pretty cool. So once again, we are making our opponents discard, trying to snipe those servants so they can't guard, and then we are attacking twice with Kome and Nova, and that's pretty cool. So we're running 4 of these, and then the life burst down target Signy your opponent's field and freeze it. Your opponent discards a card. Once again, pretty nice. You're just getting rid of another attack, freezing it to the other turn, and making your opponent discard again. And yeah, I feel like this is the build. I've had fun with this. I really like this deck. Ray is the deck that I kind of want to build the most, but this deck seems really, really fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to build it, but I might. But it all depends on a lot of stuff. But yeah, the majority of the cards here are from the new set, not counting like Fenrir, Zhao and the random drain, because it's for the trial deck. But if you're running this team, you got a trial deck most likely, and you have random drain. Yeah, I just really enjoy this deck. Hope I did a good enough job with the deck build. and that everyone enjoys it. This might not be what you like to run. Everyone has a different play style, I guess. So you can just pick this up if you don't have time to just fully do a build. Pick this up, see what you like, what you don't, make changes. That's why these are done. Uh, I try to make the best I can with these. I don't know if I do a great job. I hope I do, and that everyone enjoys this kind of stuff. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their boxes if they're buying some, enjoys the games during this set. And yeah, if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to get notifications and more of our content. I do usually gameplay videos, and I'm trying to branch out a bit more into deck profiles as I get a bit better at the game, hopefully. This is something that I really enjoy doing. I'm really enjoying the game. So yeah, if you want, join our Discord server. I'm trying to build a community there. If there is anything that you'd like to see in the channel, like a deck profile of a certain team, uh, a matchup against two certain decks, anything at all, uh, just come to our Discord server or leave it down below what you'd like to see on the Discord server. It's easier for me to answer most of the time. I'm always checking comments too, but Discord is more direct. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, till the next one.